You're watching Wendy's Lacrosse Night, live on The Score.
And new addition Craig Kahn shocked the NLL with a Cinderella playoff run, but they don't play like her. This Sting has a lot of bite. The drive for 5 is alive for the Toronto Rock. Led by a triumvirate of scores, the Rock have a roster filled with quick hands, fast feet, and big numbers. Today, it's the Sting and the Rock playing for the 2005 Champions Cup trophy on NBC. Obstructed, everything sold. The biggest crowd in National Lacrosse League history. Nearly 19,500 for the Edge National Lacrosse League Championship game. The Rock and the Sting on NBC. Good afternoon, everybody. Along with Brian Shanahan, I'm Mike Emrick. The teams are cranked up. You can tell that the fans are, and why wouldn't they be? They think they might be having a really huge party in a couple of hours because they've watched the #1 offense in this Toronto Rock team all year.
Yeah, Doc, in the 18 seasons previous to this season, only 5 players have scored more than 100 points in the season. The Toronto Rock had 3 guys that did it this year, starting with Colin Doyle, who led the league in points this season with 111. Blaine Manning not so far behind, 105 points. And the only guy who's done it before of the 3, Josh Sanderson. They picked him up in the offseason to add a spark to the offense. He sure did. And it's tough to stop the offense on this team when you get 3 guys that contribute like this.
Look at that number of points. That's what the Sting must contend with. But they have contended with adversity all year. In all 11 of their wins, they have come from behind in the second half to take the victory. Got a lot of young guys on this team.
Oh, yeah, and they're led by the one guy, 6'5", Dan Dawson, 23 years old. In his rookie year, 4 years ago, he only scored 3 goals, scored 26 in his 3rd season, up to 48 this year, second best in the NLL. Only Johnny Grant was better. He's tough to stop, even tougher after this late acquisition they made. With 5 games to go in the season, they picked up Craig Kahn from Minnesota. This guy is a bull. He goes to the net hard, scored 20 goals in the regular season, but he picks it up a notch in the playoffs. He's got 9 goals already in just 2 playoff games.
Time now to bring in the other member of our team, Mark Morgan downstairs. Mark?
Mike, thank you very much. I am alongside Craig Kahn. And Craig, you're 21 years old. Your team is the 2nd youngest in the league. Why have you played so well in the playoffs, and why is this team with so little playoff experience done so well in the postseason?
Our team just works hard. We keep plugging away, and we go for our opportunity. When we get our chance, we go for it, and we like to get runs going. Stick around. If we can stick around for the game, be within a couple goals, I think we've got a good chance tonight.
Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Now let's talk experience. Jim Veltman has been in this game 10 times. You've been on 7 title-winning teams, 4 here in Toronto. Jim, is experience that important in this specific game?
You know, with a 1 game, I mean, anything can happen. So those guys bring energy. Maybe we bring experience. Maybe the 2 will wipe each other out. Who knows? But we're going to play to our strengths. They're going to play to theirs. And, you know, we'll see what happens in the end.
Do you still get a little nervous?
Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? This is a riot. I love this stuff.
Have some fun.
Okay.
Mike, back up to you.
Interesting. Nervousness has been a part of this week. It's been a long wait for these 2 teams. Toronto's Terry Sanderson, the coach, says his guys are ready. Let's enjoy the ride. Arizona's Bob Hamley, both coach and general manager of the year, says they have a motto in the locker room, NLL champions. Get comfortable with it. Now to the men who wear the heavy equipment. Bob Watson, 35 for Toronto, 2-time first All-Pro and the MVP in the Champions Cup game when the Rock won 2 years ago. And at the other end, Mike Miron, 21 24. Not a small person. He has been a goalie for only 7 years, but he has been terrific. The officials are chosen on merit. Chet Couture is the crew chief, Rick Lum the assistant, and the technical referee is Dave Seidman, and Toronto is on the attack first.
And it didn't take Jim Veltman too long to pick up a loose ball. He has led the league in that category, loose ball pickups, every season he's played.
You can change on the fly, very much like hockey, and Toronto has already done that. Blaine Manning, one of the powerful offensive players, moved in, and his shot was tipped wide, as moving over to defend was Chris Seller of the Sting, and the Sting now get their first attack. Arizona with victories over Colorado in the first round at home, and at Calgary, unseating the champions in their second game. Now they're here for the third after a rest of 13 days. To the outside, a hard shot by Corey Bomberry, and Bomberry around behind. He can bring it the best of anyone on this Arizona team, number 72 in white, and his shot is blocked away by Watson and scooped up by Toronto.
And that last shot was a very bad angle, but there's a 30-second shot clock that he just wanted to get reset. He took that bad angle shot, hoping to get the rebound back to his team and reset the shot clock.
The average number of goals in a lacrosse game, around 25. A hard shot off the post by Doyle and a rebound, and that ricocheted high off of Bruce Cobb of the Arizona defense, and the Sting can come up with it. Is there a feeling on the part of a visiting team coming in here with the place sold out and everything at stake that if they can just get through the first couple of shifts, they'll be okay?
Well, one of the things that a lot of visiting teams say here is they want to quiet the crowd. They want to take the crowd out of the game. So if they can get an early lead, that usually does the trick.
There are collisions. There are rut burns. Some of them second degree. Normally you'd go to the hospital for that, but these guys don't. Jason Clark back for Arizona. Early stages of one of the 4 15-minute quarters that we will have this afternoon. We know a lot of you have been fans of this sport for years. We hope you'll understand we're going over some of the basics for those just learning so they can be excited about it too.
There was one just there. You'll see a lot of minor interference calls that are just possession changes.
Oh, one great chance, the first good chance that Toronto has had other than Colin Doyle's shot that glanced off the pipe. The net measures 4 by 4 feet 9. They enlarged it by 3 inches just a couple of years ago, trusting that would add to the scoring. There's plenty of that. Oh, and a goal scored by Craig Kahn. His 10th of the playoffs. He leads the league.
And this was because of Corey Bomberry, who's got the big outside shot, puts the fake on here, and everybody's looking for his shot. Craig Kahn sneaking in. Beautiful pass by Corey Bomberry, who's turned into more of a setup man because nobody lets him shoot anymore. He's got such a great shot.
5 goals against Colorado, 4 goals against Calgary for Craig Kahn, and now 1 here early against the Toronto Rock. Blaine Manning brings it ahead for the Rock. Able to shake his way by, looks for a pass. He's got someone breaking, but it's broken up in front. Good job done there by Daryl Gibson. Chased down by Josh Sanderson, son of the coach. Feet in front. Oh, and a save made by Miron on a close-in opportunity. That shot came from a guy who doesn't get that many shots in front. That was Sandy Chapman who had broken for the net. Now sent well past Chapman and out to Colin Doyle. Doyle, league MVP, shoots one, and that one off the outside of the cage. More, they circle to the outside. Josh Sanderson with it there, the leading assist man in the league. Nice feed in front to Doyle, and a save made by Miron. The first good challenge by Doyle in close, and Miron was able to block it away.
Beautiful pick and roll by Josh Sanderson and Colin Doyle. Nice save. Miron looks like he's hot so far.
Oh, and a rocket off the post that came from number 38, Chris McKay. A chance back now for the Rocket. A shot. Oh, and that was blocked high by Miron. You have to shoot in 30 seconds. The first bit of bear hugging near the front of the net. And I think we're going to see penalties to both. But they aren't done yet. It's Craig Kahn roughing it up.
That's big Dan Ladouceur, a defensive player for Toronto. Doesn't usually go over half, but he saw his opportunity on the 2-on-1 with Jim Veltman. Craig Kahn's not tall, 5'10", but 220 pounds. Beautiful pass by Jim Veltman over the shoulder. And this is what starts it after. Craig Kahn steps right into him.
They are minor penalties apiece. So the teams are playing shorthanded by one. Hard drive is stopped by Watson. Jonas Dirks let that one go, and here's a chance ahead. It's Beazle with a shot, and Miron got that. Ryan Beazle had moved in. Now to the outside, it's Rusty Kruger for Toronto as they slow it down a little bit. This is usually when they can get player changes made. Holding on now is Aaron Wilson.
4-4 is very tough to defend, Doc. There's a lot more room for the offense. When they make their picks and cut to the net, there's more room for them, and there's usually a goal scored in a 4-4 situation.
Back ahead come the Sting. A feed across to Pat Magdalena out of Butler University in Indianapolis. Lays it on out to the top where it is brought back in by Lindsay Plunkett, and a shot. Oh, and that one rattled around off the back of the cage, and it's frozen there. Play halted here at Air Canada Centre. Only one goal scored, 4:55 gone in period number one.
Wendy's Lacrosse Night, brought to you by Wendy's. When it's late, make sure you head to Wendy's pickup window to put your hunger to bed. Wendy's, it's better here.
And by Vonage, the broadband phone company. On the banks of Lake Ontario, Air Canada Centre, where Arizona has the lead on a Craig Kahn goal, his 10th of the year. So much success here in Toronto, and so much this game resembles other sports at times.
Yes, Doc, very similar to hockey, 5-on-5, plus the goalie, except the cross-checking is legal in this game. Similarities to basketball with the shot clock over and back, plus a lot of pick and rolls. And like football, you have the offensive and defensive specialists. Even more, you have face-off specialists. And often, you get to see the long bomb. Watch the goalies are like quarterbacks when they throw the long bomb.
In the pro game, spontaneous fighting is tolerated by the National Lacrosse League, too. Last time these two teams met, there was one fight, and it was an 18-10 win by Toronto. Now charging ahead is Chris McKay, just holding on and feeding it back across for control, and a setup for Daryl Gibson. Gibson now coming to the bench on a change. Right now they have it fanned out. 20 seconds to go on the coincidental minors. Pat Magdalena with it there. Magdalena laid one in front. Oh, and Lindsay Plunkett with a shot and an artful save by Bob Watson. Very deliberately to the outside. They feed it in front. Here's Dawson in front. Hit the post with the shot. Penalty time is up. The teams are back at full strength in this 1-0 Sting lead here.
Another beautifully executed play by the offense there, but the goalies have come up big, and when they haven't, the posts have been there.
Along now with it. Forced around behind is Rusty Kruger. Fed one on out. High, hard drive came from Sandy Chapman. Picked up by Doyle, but lost just that quickly to Peter Veltman. Veltman, the nephew of Jim Veltman. There's a lot of family associated here, and don't get us started just yet on the Sandersons. Jim Veltman for Toronto, number 32. Peter, number 33, in the sand-colored uniform for Arizona. Jason Clark feeds it across, shaking loose his Kahn, but boy, good defense played on him by Derek Suttons. Little feed in front is scooped up but lost by Chris Driscoll. A collision, and that freed it up for Driscoll to charge on back. Both teams making some full-scale changes. Driscoll leads a pass across, but it is locked up for the moment in a good cradle move that is held now by Blaine Manning. One of the All-Stars on this Toronto team. Participated in the All-Star game to get a delayed penalty call. Coming to the bench for a change is Bob Watson, the Toronto goalkeeper. Held there for a little pass in front, and it is eventually touched and controlled by Arizona. And so the first power play of the game, and the power play for Toronto has been one of their many bragging points.
Yes, Toronto's got the best power play in the NLL, Doc, and you'll see as Bob Watson came to the bench, you're going to see that a lot. On most delayed penalties, the teams will pull their goalie to get the extra man on the floor for the mini advantage.
The big gunners are out for Toronto. Josh Sanderson, the Manning back to Sanderson again. Have Aaron Wilson near side, and he takes this pass. Wilson feeding it to the back. Josh Sanderson with it there. They hold, and a hard shot is deflected high by Miron. Picked up and advanced back ahead by Chris Seller. Seller rushing on ahead, moving in. Score! Chris Seller with a shorthanded goal. 2-0 Arizona.
And Arizona has the worst, statistically, the worst penalty-killing team in the NLL. But this will definitely help them when they get the shorthanded goal by Seller. Last week, Peter Locke scored a big shorthanded goal that turned the game around against Calgary. And that sure helps your penalty kill when you start off +1.
Kahn and Seller, the goals for Arizona. Still shorthanded, Jason Clark with the ball for the Sting. Now Dan Dawson, all 6'5" of it. Most significant player this year, and one of the best numbers that he's got is his age, 23. This is an Arizona team that made 5 major trades during the season, and rarely did they give up players. Oh, trying to get a shot away was Jonas Dirks, but that one was blocked off well by the defense, and punished down to the floor was Patrick Merrill, who provided the defensive gem. Ball turned over to Toronto.
Oh, Jonas Dirks just got caught. Cheap shot.
So they'll be too short. You talk about a powerful power play, even though it's given up a goal already this afternoon. They're rolling the dice here. 5 against 3 when we come back. 2-0 in favor of Arizona.
This program on The Score brought to you by Nissan.
Bob Hamley's team faces a grim situation. 5 against 3, Toronto's power play, and it's a major penalty that Dirks gets here.
Not a smart play at all, right in front of the referee. I don't know how you think you're going to get away with that, but referee's watching, already one man short, going against the top power play in the NLL. And this is one thing that Arizona wants to play 5-on-5.
Notice the Hummer rules of the game. As in hockey, 5 minutes. Hard drive by Doyle, scooped right up with a big fishnet save made by Miron. Right back, they come in the 5-on-3. They got it set up, Josh Sanderson in front. Fed one across and misfired on the pass. Battled for there. Wilson can't come up with it for Toronto. Some good battling by Scott Self, and now it is outletted all the way back down, and so Toronto will have to regroup. 23 seconds to go on the minor penalty. Long toss by Beltman ahead. Little feed in front. Wilson scores!
Good ball movement here, and we didn't talk about Aaron Wilson. We talked about the big three that got over 100 points, but Aaron Wilson scored 41 goals, so he can benefit from the passing from these guys. He's a great finisher. A 5-on-3 power play, Doc, is generally over 80% successful. So it's no surprise Toronto scored on that one.
A 5-on.
Hey folks, Simon Bennett keeping you abreast of everything going on in the rest of the world of sports. And yes, Canada going for the three-peat tomorrow. Knocked off the Russians in this morning's semifinal. They almost blew a 4-0 lead, but scored 3 to make it close. It's either against the Czech Republic or Sweden tomorrow afternoon Eastern time. Back to the game.
Phil got called for the hold. Sometimes you do that wraparound stick check is legal so long as your free arm doesn't grab onto the player. And in the referee's opinion there, he did, so 4-4 again.
Here is Dawson. Likes to set up on the side where he is right now in the position. Oftentimes he'll shake his way by and then dive like he does right here. Oh, and the shot went wide. Oh, he made the brilliant move on the defender, but just could not get his shot on target. Very deliberately, Chris Driscoll. More changes from both benches. Toronto trailing in this game 2-1 over halfway through the first quarter. Blaine Manning with it. Manning shovels a little pass in front. Picked up and worked to the outside by Josh Sanderson. Good defense on him by Chris McKay of Arizona. Oh, and it's a score!
He's healthy today. Mike Miron didn't give him any room at all. He just squeezed that in the few inches that he could.
That power play goal is charged as one of the potential 2 against Jonas Dirks. He has to serve the full 5, but if Toronto scores again in the power play situation, they would be allowed to replace. Oh, what a shot by Dan Dawson! A ripper, and it's 3-2 in favor of the Sting.
Dan Dawson, most of his goals are scored from the inside, but he's also got a dangerous outside shot. Toronto's playing for the pick and roll, thinking he's going to flip it over. It gives him a little extra room to make that shot.
A 4-on-4 goal. And I correct myself. The previous goal by Shearer was 4-on-4, so it's not charged against Dirks. The power play will resume for Toronto, barring further penalties in 38 seconds, and it'll last about 2 1/4. So they still have that showing on the major. Here is Dawson trying to get by. Good defense played on him again by Shanahan in front. It is blocked away. Getting a piece of it was Watson, and quickly it's turned back over to Toronto. And again, more changes at the bench.
Dan Dawson's been doing what he's done all year, keeping defensive players fits in the one-on-one. Very tough to stop with his size and reach.
Derek Sutton, 6'2", 210, has done a pretty good job. Top shelf! Matt Shearer with his second. Boy, moving in at that angle, you wouldn't think he'd have that good a shot.
He must like that corner because he went for the same corner. And I agree, it didn't look like he had much to shoot at. But he's got one of the hardest outside shots, and as you can see, one of the most accurate ones.
Another goal while both teams are a man short. Now out of the box for Toronto is Phil Sanderson. Power play resumes for the Rock. 2 minutes to go in it. A 3-3 tie, latter stages, first quarter. We hope you're enjoying this one this afternoon on NBC and The Score all across Canada. Head to the outside, and it's intercepted, and a long lead pass will be picked up by Daryl Gibson. Racing on down, and a save made by Watson. Colin Doyle up with it now for Toronto. Plenty of people back on both teams. Doyle ahead, gets it back again, feeds it across, a little behind the back net. Oh, and Wilson was denied by Miron after a brilliant feed from Matt Shearer. Bruce Codd for Arizona. He'll come off on a player change now. Oftentimes, when it's in the attack zone, the defenders will come off. More offensively oriented players come off. Twisting with this now is Kahn. Craig Kahn outmanned in front. 3 of the Rock were on him. 1 minute to go on the power play for the Rock. John Rosa fed it across. Fed on by Josh Sanderson. Little swat that came there from the defender Peter Locke, the captain of the Arizona Sting. Two-handers are allowed. Little feeder in front. Sent on back now to Josh Sanderson. Shoots one, and a save made by Miron. Nudged ahead. Oh, and a shot went off the pipe. And there was a crease violation against Toronto. Play halted, 2:25 to go. 6 goals scored, equally divided. A few post shots, a major penalty. Power play that still has 33 seconds to go. Not bad.
This program on The Score brought to you by Yamaha, leading the world in 4-stroke snowmobile technology.
Welcome back, everybody. Mark Morgan back at the Air Canada Center. I'm alongside Dan Dawson. And Dan, your team's been very aggressive. Some good things have happened. You had a shorthanded goal, but how do you keep from being over-aggressive and hurting your team's chances in this game?
Well, we kind of been laying back a bit because we had to kill that 5-minute penalty, and our defense is doing a fantastic job. But we got to keep going the net draw some penalties ourselves.
Given that you're on the road, is this kind of where you want to be right now, if you can stave off this the rest of this penalty?
Yeah, we want to get out of this period, you know, at least tied or something. And we're playing fine right now.
All right, thanks a lot.
To the last half minute of this power play, and oh, a healthy hit on Corey Bomberry across the way, the big shooter for Arizona. A little bit of a gathering for a moment, but now play resumes. On the attack, Colin Doyle gets it back once more. Doyle flings it over the back, and Josh Sanderson's shot is turned away by Mike Miron. Onto the back it comes again. Doyle fed one in front. A little deflection went wide. Trying that was Jim Beltman. Now Doyle again shoots. He scores!
Just as the penalty was expiring, Jonas Dirks just coming on the floor. I don't know if it's officially a power play, but essentially it was. They used the extra man. Good penalty killing by Arizona, but that takes a lot out of the team. I'm sure Coach Bob Hamley will have a few words for Jonas Dirks after that 5-minute major.
Or maybe none and no floor time the rest of the game. Or changes Toronto. Largest crowd in the history of this league. 7th year in Toronto for the Rock. A little feed in front. Oh, and a shot scooped up by Miron. Nice play there on the combination that featured Rusty Kruger letting the shot go. Now moving back with it is Chris Seller. Seller ahead, and a shot had to be blocked away by Watson. Rosa shoved off. Watson sees it trickle in front, and Ian Rubel brings it ahead on the attack for the Rock. Brian Beasley, Brampton, Ontario. The heritage of this, as well as hockey, comes from Canada. Many of the players are from Canada. Most of them in this game. A shot deflected away as Peter Veltman got a piece of that for Arizona. Aaron Wilson fed it across. Trying to shake free is Doyle, who just scored to break this tie. Down to the last 40 of the period. And Miron comes up with this. The man nicknamed Tiny just hands it off so that Arizona can get a change made. And it is walked ahead now by Lindsey Plunkett. Plunkett to the outside. Kahn, a shot that floated wide. Boy, he didn't get all of that he wanted. And they're calling it deflected away by Toronto, so it will still be Arizona ball with 21.3 to go. Game clock and shot clock the same. And coming to the bench is the goaltender Mike Miron, so they'll go with 6 attackers.
They'll wait till the last second to get that shot. So Toronto has no chance to score on their empty net. Use the extra man because it's over the bench.
Your money on Dawson to take it. He's holding right now. Dawson, though, goes to Clark. To the outside it comes for a hard drive by Bomberry that was saved by Watson. And the first quarter has come to an end.